Hey everyone, TimaeuSS here, and welcome to another Honkai Star Rail video. So a bit late to the party for this one, but Jing Yuan, apparently the CN bros down over at their various platforms are a bit disappointed with Jing. Okay, so we're gonna do a deep dive into some of the reasons why. Of course, we have this is a Poke's breakdown. We're gonna give our own thoughts into it. If you haven't checked out Poke, do check him out. He's, of course, done a 25-minute video on this, going very in-depth. So you can check out his version, whereas mine is going to be a bit more of a summary, looking at the Jing changes and how it's affected some people's perception of Jing Yuan. We've collaborated on the CN analysis, and we will continue to do so for upcoming characters, taking a look at what the CN bros have to offer for us. And yeah, you can check out this document, which is in the description. And those are our YouTube. Check out Poke. He's been with us since the Artery Gear days, so very trustworthy member of the community. So let's take a look at why Jin kind of fell from the very top, okay? Because we have to understand what was his establishment prior to the release, in the sense that we had our CBT. Jin was in the last CBT, right? And he was basically regarded as an insane unit that changed the game. From the CN point of view, he was so damn strong. A lot of people said he is basically stronger than Seele because he can do AoE and he can do single target. So after the CBT, people were saying, if you don't pull for Seele and you want to save, Jing Yuan is the person to go for. Now, this is actually very important. For those of you that basically saw the CN reaction and you are worried about what to pull next, fear not. If you're a husbander or waifu lover, just go for your favorite unit. However, if you're a meta chaser and you want to see what it's like, you can always wait a bit, because the CN bros will be able to test the units hours in advance, and the mega wheels can hyper max whatever unit comes out and can let us know how the unit is before NA or EU gets to pull. So you can always wait for their testing. But as you can see on the social platform and the YouTube, people are a bit disappointed. Okay, I think this has more to do with the fact that Jing was just, like I said, regarded as the best and kind of fell from number 1 to Seele in terms of the two main damage dealer we have at the moment. So let's take a look at the list of changes now. Again, shoutouts to Poke for making this translation for us. So since CBT3, a couple of changes. The greens are the buffs in which your technique has now increased from 2 Lightning Lord stack into 3, so you start the fight into 3 Lightning Lord stacks. This actually doesn't make that big of a difference. It's a welcome buff, of course, but it actually does not make a difference in the sense that if you use your rotation correctly and you start with the technique, you'll still be 1 stack above the 10. You'll be at 11 stack. So this buff is inconsequential, and because it's a technique, you only trigger it once per battle before the fight begins. The second one is the Battalion Crush, which is the trace. Now, the critical damage is increased from 20 to 25%. It's a buff of 5% crit damage, but those two buffs do not compensate for what Jing Yuan has lost. So, first of all, you lose crit chance. You went from 18.7% to 12%, and we know how valuable crit chance is. Second is the trace ability. Instead of getting 14.4% lightning damage, it's now a 28% attack. It's a slight nerf. Early game, it's not as bad, but later on, the scaling works out to be, much worse in terms of lightning damage percentage and attack percentage. So that's changed. And one thing that the CM players have caught on is the trace. The cone, the light cones changed. So the before dawn went from 600 base attack to 582, and this is the base value, which actually matters a lot. Okay, this matters a lot. So overall, it's nerfed. Jing Yuan has been nerfed overall. So it's not just Jing Yuan either. The supporting cast of Jing Yuan has been changed as well. So Ting Yun is still very good, as we know, but for Ting Yun, the ultimate buff percentage duration, they all got nerfed from 50%, from 60% to 50%, and 3 turns to 2%. And it actually matters a lot. This matters a lot for Jin, because Jin, the speed of Jin is going to be faster than Lightning Lord, right? So their rotation on the action is going to be different, in the sense that sometimes your Jin takes the turn and you will not get the ultimate buff for Jin anymore because Jin finishes his turn and then the Lightning Lord goes. So you no longer get that buff. Okay, and of course, even more nerfs in the sense that nourish the speed is now changed from 40% to 20%. We know a faster Jin means faster rotation and more stacks of the LL Lightning Lord. So that's changed as well. And E2 energy is changed from 10 to 5. So let's charge this. 10 to 5 for Jin could mean one less ultimate. Okay, this could mean one less ultimate for Jin, which is, you know, more stacks lost for Jing Yuan's Lightning Lord. And the reason why a lot of people are saying Jing is weaker is not because he himself got nerfed, it's because the comparison and the result between Seele and Jing Yuan. Seele coming out actually got buffed. Okay, Seele did get a buff coming out, and Seele is even better because they changed the light cone in the sense that it favors the lower investment, because the speed, you no longer need to reach 180 to get the full 8 stacks. 160 6 stacks gives you that full light cone benefit, and E2 already allows you to achieve that super easily with the double speed stack. And even if you don't have E2 and it's just a single stack, 160 is a lot easier to get versus 180. So Seele, along with other changes, just is a lot better. And a lot of people were saying Seele is single target, but you don't want to discount Seele's extra turn mechanic. Lots of theory crafting and lots of testing wise, the test that they run cannot simulate the extra turn mechanic properly. So now in real battles, you actually see Seele coming out doing so much more. And hence why, if you do compare, and that's why people are saying, because Jing Yuan was hyped as, you know, the damage dealer, AoE and single target back then in CNCBT, which is now why Jin, in comparison to Seele, does not look as broken anymore. Okay, so what is the end game currently at the moment? We know it's the Memory of Chaos. Okay, the Memory of Chaos, and all of the enemies, they have a decent amount of speed. Okay, and they have CC. So when we're faced with enemies that have speed, if your Jing Yuan is not on speed boots, okay, it's going to be very difficult to keep up with the speed. And also your Lightning Lord, the innate slow speed, Lightning Lord will take a while to take its turn. Whereas Seele, you're just going turn after turn after turn after turn. And Seele has been abused in the 0 turn clears already, where you take so many turns that you use your extra turn mechanic and you will be able to clear the boss in 0 turns before the first round takes place, basically. And this is why it is so damn strong. Now, for the high amounts of CC, okay, this affects Jing Yuan quite a bit, because when Jing Yuan CC'd, Lightning Lord misses a turn. And we already know Lightning Lord isn't the fastest in the world, okay? If Lightning Lord misses a turn, huge damage opportunity lost. So we know Cocolia freezes, and we know there are other bosses that will stun you, and all forms of crowd control basically takes the turn away from the Lightning Lord, because if Jing Yuan CC, Lightning Lord doesn't take a turn. And which is why, all in all, these changes, Jing Yuan's slight nerf, the supporting cast nerfs, and the rise of Seele and how she fares in endgame content versus Jin ultimately resulted in more of the CM players' disappointment in Jin. Okay, bootleg Jin. But yeah, I personally think Jin as a husbando is still very strong, and I do have Jin as well on my account. You need 2 teams for Memory Chaos. He's going to be on my team too, but of course when Kafka comes out, he is going to be replaced for me. But either way, you know, it's a single player game. There's no competition. Who are you competing against but other than yourself and the computers? If you like what you use, go ahead. You know, we have people using Chemical, using Hook. So definitely give it a try. Let me know your thoughts. If you're not a meta chaser, don't, have fun with the game, and that's all there is to it. So anyhow, it's TimaeuSS here, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Goodbye now.